続いてのセッションは Getting More Done Faster The Power of JIRA Service Desk と題し、アトラシアン株式会社サポートマネージャーアダム・ロスコスキーより講演させていただきます。
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, I want to do a quick poll. So, how many people in here are from an IT team? Show of hands. Wow. Okay, that's 70-80% of the room. Good, good. It's great to have you here. We love IT teams. And if you're not from an IT team, don't worry. We love you too. As you said, my name is Adam Laskowski. I am the support manager in Atlassian, Japan. Now, a lot of you here probably know and love JIRA, which is good. We love JIRA too. And if you followed us last year at Summit, you probably know that we launched JIRA Service Desk because we found out that more than 40% of our customers were already using JIRA as a service desk in their organizations. So we're very grateful for that, for showing us the way, and showing us where we should take JIRA as a product. So we launched last October, which is less than a year ago. We already have more than 1,700 customers using JIRA Service Desk, which makes it the fastest growing Atlassian product. More importantly, what we found out is that most companies have many more service desks than just one. The highest that we've heard so far was actually from Twitter. They have 112 active service desks currently deployed at their company. So that record is for you guys to beat if you want to. Get out there, try it. So you also may know that our original pricing scheme was the same as JIRA. So every user in JIRA counted as a user in Service Desk and bought license tiers in the same way that you would buy for Agile or any of the other plugins. Well, we're happy to say that in JIRA Service Desk 2.0, we've introduced new licensing. So now all of your customers are free. As many customers as you want, whether that be internal or external people trying to contact your service desk. Now you only pay per agent $25 per month, which is huge. You get all of the features of JIRA Service Desk for just that one low price. No scaling, same price, as many agents as you add to the service desk. So, unlimited customers may sound kind of bad if you work on an IT team, because you can imagine an infinite line of people coming to tap you on the shoulder. So we hear you and we know that that's kind of a pain. It's not easy being in IT these days, and we kind of want to change that. So first, let me tell you a quick story. This is DDA Moretti. He is the general manager for JIRA Service Desk, and he loves coffee. So a few weeks ago, he was visiting Sydney, and when going out to the local coffee shops, he felt he was spending more time waiting in line than he did on his 13-hour flight over. And the reason is because people in Sydney also love their coffee. Coffee rush hour is pretty much 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's the entire day. After that, it's beer time, so clears up the thing. But what he realized standing in line is that all the people there were speaking various languages and were tourists. And no Sydneyites were inside. The reason being, all the people in Sydney were using an app called Beat the Queue, which lets you order your coffee from your desk before you even leave your office, so that you can skip the line when you get to the cafe. So how does that relate to the IT business? Well, your colleagues and all of us are used to really good consumer services such as Beat the Queue. And we know there's hundreds and hundreds of apps for just about everything. And all of them come with great experiences. And really, we just won't settle for anything less anymore. So you can probably agree that up until now, service desks don't really meet that expectation. They kind of feel like this, standing in line, being frustrated. So you have to ask, why hasn't that happened in IT yet? Well, that's because most IT vendors tend to focus on the internal processes. It's very complex, they're very important, and it takes a lot of time. So by the time they're done, it's really hard to kind of focus in on the customer experience as well and really kind of deliver on that. So we decided to take a different approach. So we decided to focus completely on the customer experience and reinvent the service so that customers get really great experience when they use your service desk. Part of a really good experience is how well the teams work together in order to service your customers as well. So we took all of the social collaborative features of JIRA and Confluence and put them into Service Desk. It's also about the results. With Service Desk, we made it easy to set goals, track progress, drive rapid improvements, and also to demonstrate those results to anybody who wants to see it. So this is kind of a common scenario we've seen across the board through IT, so let me take you through it. So you have a customer who wants a new laptop. Your service desk team, IT team, has to collaborate to create a purchase order, receive the package, load the software, put on asset tags, all of that stuff, in order to get this person a laptop. So that's what Service Desk is designed to do. It's to help your IT team collaborate to get that task done as quickly as possible. But it doesn't just happen in IT. You might have a product manager who wants A/B site testing on your landing page from your team. You might have a colleague that needs a contract review by legal. All of these teams need to collaborate in order to get work done. So we went and talked with all of these teams, more than just IT teams, and asked them what their biggest challenges were. We found there were 4 real big challenges that they really wanted to address. So the first one is, how can I give users a consumer-grade experience? And we kind of talked about that already, but it's hugely important. The second is, how can I do more faster? This is both for your customers and your agents. How can we make them go as quickly as possible to get to resolution? Now, how can my team work better together? You have a much broader range of technology and issues than ever before, as everything is getting more complex these days. And the only way to really kind of address this broader range is through more collaborative efforts across your whole organization. And last but not least, you need to be able to demonstrate the value of your team, your services, and service desks to your company. So, to kind of go through these 4 key challenges, I'm going to start with a car analogy, because your service desk is kind of like a car. It gets you from A to B, and as they say, mileage and experience may vary. So it can be a good ride or it can be a terrible ride, and you can't wait to get out of the car. So starting with a traditional service desk probably looks a little like this. Now that there's basically an old clunky van, bumpy ride, might be a bit smelly. You get the idea. It's not very fun to drive, it's not very fun to be a passenger. It sort of works, but nobody really wants to use it. In the same way, if you have a service desk that is clunky and hard to use, people are going to work around that and not use it at all. Instead, they're going to come and send chat messages to your agents, tap them on the shoulder, send them emails directly, maybe even stop them in the lunchroom. Eventually, they're bombarded by so many requests outside of your service desk that you can't track it. It's just too chaotic. And the service quality for your customers becomes very, very poor. So the first thing is first. Get rid of your old van. It's okay, we give you permission. What you need is a new experience that your customers are actually going to enjoy using. a service desk with a much more impressive experience. So let's go back to our laptop example. When your customer is asking for a new laptop, they don't know that to your IT team that means that it's a hardware purchase request. Right? They just know that they want to get their laptop as quickly as possible. Service Desk helps translate the customer's cry for help into something that your IT team can action on. So in Service Desk 1.0, we think we really delivered the industry best consumer-grade experience with the customer portal that we created. Now, I'm a customer, I don't really care about all of the internal IT processes and requirements as far as computer specs, things like that. I just know what I need. I want to be able to tell them what I need, and I want to be telling them maybe why I need it. But I also want to know what other information they need from me. I want instructions to be able to help get this resolved faster, so there's not a lot of back and forth. I also want to be kept up to date, and I want to know the status of my issue. I don't need to know all the internal statuses for IT, like waiting for a vendor, installing OEM software. I just need to know if anything is required for me, or if I'm waiting on the IT team still. I also want a clean interface for all of the previous activity on the issue so I can track that. Just show me what matters. But the great customer experience isn't just about a nice customer portal. We also want to make it easy for the agents working on the issues to be able to prioritize their work. It's all about efficiency, and that's where SLAs come in. So service level agreements allow you to easily set goals so that you can prioritize your work. So if the system goes down, you can set a 30-minute SLA. If your boss raises an issue, you need to do it now. Probably pushes it right up to the top. So when we launched, we were really focused on the customer IT team interaction, really getting that one strong. But over the last 10 months, we've realized that Service Desk is spreading through your organizations to non-IT teams, to marketing, HR, legal. And that's great, we love that. We know it's helping you get work done faster, but from the customer side, suddenly you have all of these different service desks, which you have to try and navigate in order to get anything done. You don't know if I want to do HR, which URL do I use? If I want to do IT, where do I go? So in Service Desk 2.0, we released one portal to hold all of those Service Desk links. So in our new portal, you can now see over on the left that you can easily, from one URL, get to your HR service desk, your legal service desk. And then within that, you'll have all the request types that you used to see. It makes it really easy to navigate. And on the other side, you can also see all of your previous requests and their statuses at a glance, so that you can quickly get back to anything that you've asked previously to follow up on. So we think web portals are the best way to service your customers quickly, but some of your customers also want to contact you via email. So in 2.0, we also introduced a feature which allows you to raise new issues through your service desk directly from email. So from a customer perspective, it's just as if they're emailing you directly. They have all the information that they need. If they don't have an account, Service Desk handles that for them. And the entire back and forth can happen from the customer side through email. They never have to log into Service Desk portal if they don't want to. While your agents, on the other hand, can still work directly from JIRA, contact the customers that way. So we didn't want to stop there. So coming soon in the future release of JIRA Service Desk, we will also be bringing the Service Desk portal to mobile devices. So that gives you a third way to access JIRA on the go, however you'd like to. So that gives you one central place and a lot of different options on how you get a hold of your various service desk teams. So it's all about changing the picture from this to something more like this. So that's only the first step. In order to make a good experience, you need to first move to brand new shiny car. but you also need to make your customers go faster. And what's the best way to do that than put them in Formula 1 car? So we feel the way to drive that is through self-service. And that's an experience that we're all really familiar with anyway. If you have a question, you probably just go to Google and type a question and start searching around for an answer. It's much faster than waiting to ask somebody and get responses. So when you think about it, when your customers are contacting you for something, they're really asking you to do one of two things. The first is to solve something, like how do I get on the Wi-Fi network, or how do I set up my printer? The second is that they're asking you to do something. Please reset my password. Please give me access to the system. So we'll look at both of them individually, and we'll start with solve. So the best way to do that is through knowledge base. If you want something done as a customer, it's just about finding the right knowledge, right? And as a service desk person, you want to arm your customers with that knowledge easily. You want to make it very painless to find that knowledge. In Service Desk 1, we already had that integration with Confluence, where you could set up a knowledge base, and as people were raising requests, knowledge base article suggestions would pop up in the search. It's been a huge part of the success for most of our customers using Service Desk. In fact, Puppet Labs, after deploying Service Desk with a knowledge base, managed to increase their ticket resolution rate by about 70%, which is huge. And it's stories like that that make us want to go one step further. So, from a centralized portal, we've already grouped all the service desks together, ways to contact, but why stop there? We can also centralize all the knowledge across your organization as well, providing you one box in which you can find answers for yourself. So let's see what that would look like. So if we're looking up information around printing, you can see that it's already populating some options. First one here is troubleshooting a printer in cartridge problem. That's a knowledge-based article being pulled from Confluence. But why stop at the knowledge base? Why not pull some crowdsourced answers from Confluence Questions, our internal Q&A product? So what's a good laser printer to serve at home? Or beneath that, how do I print great t-shirts? Failing all else, you can still get to the right service desk that will be able to help you with your question directly from the box. You don't have to go searching through the various service desks to find the right request. So the second thing customers want is something done. And we feel the best way to kind of automate that self-service style is with robots. So JIRA is introducing the concept of automated issue transitions for software development teams. So we at Service Desk wanted to go one step further, and we wanted to speed up all the manual, repetitive processes that your teams do on a daily basis, so that they can focus on the stuff that's important to the company. So let's take a request for access to a system. So typically it looks something like this. When a ticket is approved, then grant access. Right? Two very basic cause and effect. But it doesn't stop there. It could be anything. It could be when an email is received. Give a suggestion. When an SLA is due, send a reminder. So this is another coming soon to Service Desk in a future release. We will be adding this automation feature, and it'll look something a little like this. So we want to keep it simple with very common situations. Reminders, escalations, and we'll look at the trigger or webhook option for our external system access. So the first thing we need to do is decide when this rule will trigger. So we want it to happen when a manager approves this issue. It'll automatically go and provide access to that user. And so we drop in the external URL for the system that will allow it to approve, and we save, and we're done. So now every time that situation happens, that user will automatically be granted access. So it's like having an invisible member on your team. It's free work. So now you've seen how we've been able to speed it up with self-service and with automation. But Formula One races are not just about the driver. Formula One is a team sport, and races are often won or lost in the pit stop. So it doesn't matter how fast you go. It comes down to how well your team can go the distance. So teams, you win or lose together. So in Service Desk 2.0, we've introduced an agent team interface so that you can get a quick look at what's going on in your team. From the number of issues that they currently are working on to their statuses based on the SLA. So red is already breached SLA, yellow is in danger of breaching, and gray is everything's fine. So with this, your team can prioritize, okay, well, do I need to go and help one of my other colleagues? You know, it looks like Kevin up at the top might need some help, maybe Cassie, and Midge is looking pretty good. Emma down at the bottom, she can definitely help out. So working as a team isn't just about visibility, but it's also about actively collaborating to fix issues. So, for example, let's say that Kevin is a desktop engineer and Cassie was a network administrator, right? Customer raises an issue on Wi-Fi connectivity issues. Well, both of those people need to collaborate in order to figure out where the problem lies. So, as we mentioned before, we pulled in all of the social features from JIRA and Confluence to help you collaborate quickly. You can quickly share information in context to other people on your team, or pull people into the conversation using app mentions. But collaboration goes beyond just the current features that we have. We also have a HipChat integration, which allows you to get real-time assistance on issues from anywhere. So really time-sensitive things can get solved faster. So let's take an example of how that would work. We're Mitch, and Mitch is a member of the Service Desk team going through business as usual. Now, he suddenly gets a notification from HipChat that an issue has come into their Service Desk. So he flips back over to check on it and follows that directly to the issue. And it looks like the system is down. Sales are affected, so pretty bad. We need to get on it right away. So he hops back into the HipChat room, tells his team he's looking into it. And one of his team members, Max, also looked, but he isn't sure what the problem is, so we'll go and try and figure it out. So we determine it's not a problem with the hardware and that we need a developer. Rather than send Jenny an email or try to call her on her cell phone, get a hold of her that way, we simply @mention her, which will notify her across all of her devices logged into HipChat. So Jenny gets the message, hops in, tells us she's looking at it. And a few minutes later, tells us they found the problem and they'll have it fixed in 10 minutes. Which is a huge win. Big problem avoided. So for a successful F1 team, your pit crew really isn't enough. They'll help you win the race, but ultimately it's a much larger effort in order to become a Formula One team. There's a wider extended team that needs to go and plan races and talk to suppliers, get sponsors. And similarly, your Service Desk team needs to reach out across your whole organization in order to help your customers. So as we saw in the HipChat example, sometimes you need to reach out past your Service Desk team to get information from developers for additional troubleshooting. Or perhaps your team needs to talk to an operations team to let them know about the status of a system outage or a service window. So in Service Desk 2.0, we introduced the idea of collaborators. Any JIRA user can be set up as a collaborator, and they do not count against your Service Desk licensing at all. They are for users. Agents and collaborators have the same view and can easily communicate back and forth in order to help solve your customer issues. Then your Service Desk agent controls all the communication with the customer and keeps them up to date. But your extended team is even broader than this, if you think about it. It's really your whole organization. You have experts all over your organization, from HR, legal, finance, we talked about them before. And they have information and skills that will help you solve your customer problem. So this is where Confluence Questions comes in. We talked a little bit about that already. So we use Confluence Questions at Atlassian quite a bit. And here's some examples from one of our pages that I pulled up. So here you go. First one is from Summit a couple weeks ago. So on the last talk at Summit, how do I keep my audience awake? It would be interesting and handy for this chat today even. What's the difference between a wrap and a burrito? Very important in San Francisco, very important distinction. And then something about some construction noise over in the Sydney office. But we also use it for more specific things to the organization, less social things, in this case IT. So you can see questions about how do I set up VPN access on my laptop, or which meeting rooms have video conference units. So Confluence Questions focuses on peer-to-peer help. And as we showed earlier in the demonstration with the Service Desk portal, we want to be able to bring relevant articles to the customer as they're asking a question to get them the right answers from anywhere in the organization. So now you've got a great new experience. Your customers can go faster with some self-service, and you've got your whole team working with you. So now you're on to the next thing. Showing great results and winning the season. In F1, winning a season is about the whole organization. There's a lot of drivers, there's many different races, and everybody has to come together to continue winning to be the top of the leaderboards at the end of the season. So it's all about winning together. Earlier I mentioned Twitter has 112 service desks. Well, prior to deploying JIRA Service Desk last October, they were doing about, their email support was about 95% of all requests coming through now. After putting JIRA Service Desk in place, that's dropped down to about 20%. They even use it across their non-technical teams. Two examples they gave were the procurement team uses Service Desk to add required fields so that a user can't raise an issue until all of the necessary information is in place to prevent a lot of back and forth, which wastes a lot of time. They even have their facilities team using JIRA Service Desk for global and local office problems, including things like, we're out of coffee on floor 3. So speaking of winning end results, we also use it at Atlassian internally through all of our teams as well. And since we've released Service Desk for our legal team, they managed to drop the time spent for legal review by 50%, which is a huge savings. Like, it's much easier now to track versions of documents. There's a lot less back and forth. And they were able to introduce a fast lane where you can get a contract reviewed and approved in just a couple of days. It's way, way fast. So we also use it in build engineering. And there's a lot of back and forth questions between build engineering and development teams. Putting Service Desk in place makes it much easier for them to get the answers that they need, and it also lets developers self-serve on a lot of common questions that the build engineering team gets. As a result, their internal net promoter score jumped from 18 up to 38, which is a fairly good jump on NPS. For our last example, we also use it for our donations to our favorite organization, Room to Read. Room to Read had a day where they were double matching all donations, but it had a very small window. Prior to using Service Desk, trying to arrange donations from your paycheck was very difficult. But in the new Service Desk portal, 3 questions. What office are you from? How much would you like to donate from your next paycheck? And which Room to Read campaign would you like to give it to? As a result, we were able to raise $65,000 in a single day for Room to Read. So, we've talked about the 4 key challenges that we're trying to address through our Service Desk. First one is consumer-grade experience with our central portal and multi-channel support. Helping customers and agents go faster through self-service with KB's and automation. Pulling your team together through collaboration with things like HipChat, Confluence Questions, and JIRA collaborators. And then finally, about delivering value across your company. Using things like SLAs to deliver results and reports to track all that information for anybody that wants to see. So this is our vision for Service Desk, and we're constantly moving forward and listening to our customers to provide the best experience that we can to make it the easiest for your teams to work together. So we're on this journey with you, and our team feels that this is just the beginning. And we're really committed to making the entire market successful, just like we have with other products, such as JIRA and Confluence. So we've talked a lot about features today, and I want to let you know that JIRA Service Desk 2.0 is actually out already. You can go and download it right now and give it a shot. And I just want to really quickly recap all of the features that we talked about. So new pricing, central portal, email requests, the team workload view, collaborators, and integrations across other products. And coming soon in our future releases, we will bring you the mobile experience, the new integrated knowledge search from the central portal, further automation, and of course the Confluence Questions integration. So please go out and give services a try. Thanks.
ご清聴いただきありがとうございました。それでは質疑応答に入りたいと思います。すいません。まずは7サーブセッションからご質問を受けたまわりたいと思います。ご質問のある方は挙手をお願いいたします。そちらの方。
アトラシアンの製品、全般についてなんですけれど、スマートフォンとのモバイル対応というのはどのぐらい進んでますか？
アプリという意味ですかね。どういった形の？
ブラウザーですね。
はい。ブラウザーに関しては基本的にうちの製品ウェブブラウザーをレスポンシブになるように対応を進めている最中といった形になります。で、いくつか例えばヒップチャットみたいな製品はもうアプリを用意してご提供させていただいているという形ですね。なので、アトラシアンという会社は基本的にフィードバックをいただいてそれに対応していくような会社ですので、もしお気づきの点があればぜひフィードバックをいただけるとまた変わっていくかなと。で、もう一点ですね、ちょっと発散しますが、JIRAコンフレンスに関してはアトラシアンの提供ではないんですけれども、例えば iPhone 向けのアプリとかそういったようなものを他の方が作って提供していただいたりもしています。はい。なのでアトラシアンとしてだけではなくサードパーティーさんからの提供も含めると、結構ですねスマホ対応といったところではこの手のエリアの製品に関しては進んでる方かなとは思って
他にご質問のある方いらっしゃいませんでしょうか。はい、じゃあ梶原さんお願いいたします。すいません。
ジラとのインテグレーションの話で、GitHub と、Jenkins を使ってるんですけども、同様にビルドが終わったとか、ブランチを作るっていうのは可能なんでしょうか。
ですね、全てにおいて可能かというとちょっと難しいかなと思います。というのはやはりアトラシアン製品であればこそできる部分って結構あるんですね。なので、例えばそうですね、私がデモでやったブランチの作成、例えばジラのタスクからブランチを作成するとかは GitHub 連携ではちょっとできないんですね。ただその後の GitHub の方で、コミットコメントの方にジラの ID を入れていただくと先ほどご覧いただいたようにコミットが何件とかブランチがいくつとかそういったような形の表示ができるというところは分かります。なのであとはもうGitHub もそうですし Jenkins もそうなんですが実装次第API は提供してますので、同じように実装することはできるかなと思います。はい、でアトラシアンの製品使っていただくと、何も気づかずに設定するだけでできるので、その方が皆さんの本業が何かというのを考えていただいて、本業に注力できるようにしていただければなと思います。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。他にご質問ある方いらっしゃいますでしょうか。
クラウドとかそのサービスはいくつか、クラウドのサービス、ソフトさんがもう用意されているという認識でよろしいですか。他の他社でも、アトラでも同じようなサービスが提供されているんでしょうか。
基本的にホスティングのサービスというのはアトラシアンで提供しているもの以外というのはあまりちょっと私も把握はしてないんですね。でもしよろしければビッグソフトさんのされますビッグクラウド基本的にアトラシアンとして提供しているものはジラであればジラクラウドという形で提供しているんですけれどもパートナーさんから同じようなホスティングというのはそんなにやってないんです、という現状があります。でリックさんはリッククラウドという形のご提供というのをされているということです。ですのでもしよろしければ今かもしくは後で休憩の時間とかにですねリックさんいらっしゃってますのでちょっと詳しいことはお聞きいただければなと思います。
ありがとうございます。
他にご質問のある方いらっしゃいますでしょうか。
先ほどのデモは大変感銘を受けたんですが、あれを実現するには、ジラのほかに、どのようなサービス、製品を組み合わせる感じですかね。
ですね、デモでご覧いただいたのは、企画とジラの連携はコンフルエンスを使いました。であとですね、ジラの一周タスクとか、要件と、その後のですね、ソースコードとかビルドとの兼ね合いのところについてるんですが、使っていたのはジラプラススタッシュという Git のリポジトリ、それとあと継続的インテグレーションとデプロイメントを行うバンブルというのがあるんですが、それになります。で、これをですね、クラウド環境ですね、SaaS 型で我々が提供している環境で使う場合には Git のリポジトリのところがスタッシュではなくてビットバケットになっていただきますね。
よろしいでしょうか。
ちなみに設定はものすごく簡単です。システム管理者でアプリケーションリンクっていうのでセットしていただくだけで、あとは細かい権限とかいろいろもちろんつけられるんですが、それやっていただくともう連携してデータがちゃんと収集できるようになります。
クラウドは、これらの製品全部、クラウド化されていると考えていますか。
そうですね、先ほどの Git のリポジトリのところだけスタッシュもしくはクラウドで使う場合はビットバケットを使っていただくんですが、それ以外のジラ、あとバンブ、 あとコンフレンスはクラウド版も用意してます。でその組み合わせで使っていただけると思います。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。
はい。
ご質問ありがとうございました。それでは、お時間も迫ってまいりますので、もし最後にご質問ある方いらっしゃいましたら、最後に受け付けたいと思いますが、はい、じゃあ左端の方お願いいたします。こちらの左列のすいません、青いシャツの方。
すみません。弊社ではJIRAコンフェレンスほぼパッケージを導入して運用を開始しています。で、今回お話になったように、今開発のチームの枠を超えて営業、カスタマーサービスであったり経営陣であったり、要はチームの枠を超えて導入をし始めているんですけれども、どうしても権限のところですね。今クロードで連携しているんですけども、そこでいくら絞り込んでいても、絞り込んだ結果を例えばJIRA側で、ユーザー検索したときに絞り込んだ以外のものまで引っ張ってきてしまうような状況なんですね。でそうすると誰かにアサインしたいと思ったときに検索するときに非常に同一の名前が出てきてしまうというところで少し困っているので、その辺のセキュリティというか、特に連携ですね、ユーザー管理、その辺の今後の、バージョンアップとかいうところで何かいい話が聞ければと思います。
私の知る限りで言うと、特にそこのところで何かそのJIRAとしてとか他のアトラシアン製品としてお伝えできるアップデートがあるかというと残念ながら今はないです。はい、であとはそのソリューションとして見たときに今ご要望通りにマッチした形になっていないということなので、そのあたりはぜひですね今回だとビッグソフトさんいらっしゃってるんですけど、スポンサーとして来ていただいてますけども、我々エキスパートさんというパートナーさんがおりますので、パートナーさんにぜひご相談いただければなと思います。
あともう一ついいですか、特にクロードの部分なんですけども、今JIRAを複数ノード立て始めていまして、社内のみのアクセスだったり、外部向けだったりで、それを一つのクロードで管理したいんですけども、ローカルユーザーと、AD 連携とこのハイブリッドで使えるような状態に今後なったりします。
ですね、ちょっと私もその辺の情報がないのでどうしようかな。誰か今知ってる人いますか、社員で。今は後でお時間もしあれば個別にちょっと
ありがとうございます。
はい、それでは、長澤への質問は以上で、質疑応答は以上で、終了したいと思います。もし何かご質問等ございましたら、休憩時間または6時半から開催されるネットワーキングパーティーにて個別にお話しいただければと思います。続きましてアダム・ロスコスキーのセッションへのご質問を承りたいと思います。ご質問のある方は挙手願いますでしょうか。日本語でも構いませんのでよろしくお願いいたします。すいません。ちょっとヒップチャットで向こうのJIRAサービスデスクの担当者にも今同時に接続いたしますので少々お待ちください。
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right.
Edwin, can you give us a brief introduction?
Of course. Hi, my name is Edwin. I am the Group Product Manager of JIRA Service Desk. So my job is really to understand the requirements that our customers have for the product and translate that into features that we build and control our roadmap.
Okay, thank you. So we are asking attendee for JIRA Services question. So それではすいません、質 質問ある方、アダムのセッション並びにジラサービスデスクに関してご質問のある方、挙手をお願いいたします。じゃあ、2名いらっしゃいます。まず左側の、こちら側の白いシャツの方から、で次に後ろの、はい、挙手されます。
サービスデスクのポータル画面ですね。はい、ポータル画面ってあれは簡単に作れるもんですかね。
He's asking if the the service desk portal is easy to create.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, you don't actually need to really do anything. You send the project by default. It's already available there. But to customize it is actually very, very easily. You can go to the service desk and create some of what we call request types that are like mappings to the issue types you need in JIRA. And each of those will have a form on the portal.
よろしいでしょうか。よろしいでしょうか。すみません。ちょっと質疑応答に関しては同日訳トランシバーで同じように通訳が入りますので、もしよろしければそちらの方をお伝えください。他にご質問ある方いらっしゃいますでしょうか。そうですね。すみません。先ほどのグレーのシャツの方お願いいたします。
Okay, so I have two questions. One is we've been using a managed engine service desk for it's been for like 5 or 6 years. And in that service desk system, we have also like request program, blah blah blah, these features. And then I saw on the first presentation they were saying on JIRA you have kind of asset inventory system thing or something. And if you could show us, the display or asset inventories, how do I look on the JIRA? That's the first one. The second one is from our experience, I thought service desk is only for IT, but you guys are actually using this one for HR, marketing, blah blah these things. That time, you say $25 per agent. So for HR or marketing people, do we have to pay $25 if they use as a service desk for HR or marketing? That's the second question.
The first question first. I think the first question was in relation to using JIRA Service Desk as an asset management tool, if I recall correctly. So yes, we have certainly had many examples of customers actually having a lot of success using JIRA itself as an asset management tool. So I can't show you here, but there is a blog that highlights some of that. So if Adam or someone could share with the audience here that blog, I'm happy to send through the link about asset management and how you set it up in JIRA. I can do that. However, Service Desk isn't a asset management tool itself, so it needs to be something that is set up in JIRA. So I can share that blog. The second question around using Service Desk agents and using HR and finance, the short answer is yes. Every single licensed user who is part of a team that services customers will need to be classified as an agent in order for them to work on those tickets that are coming through. So in your typical HR or finance setup, then the members of the HR team who are working on servicing those customers, the employees in the organization, will need to be agents.
Cheers, thanks.
よろしいでしょうか。ありがとうございました。他にご質問ある方いらっしゃいますでしょうか。じゃあ、その方お願いいたします。はい。それじゃあ、 じゃあ、先に青シャツの方から、次に、白いシャツの方。
ヒップチャット以外のチャットツールとの、サービスデスクの連携はありますか？
So other than HipChat, what integrations do we have with our other tools? Is that correct? Okay.
Absolutely. So you've seen HipChat in the demonstration that Adam did. But of course, JIRA Service Desk is actually built in JIRA, so it's actually an extension on top of JIRA. So by the very definition, then it also works very well with JIRA because it's actually JIRA. In terms of integration of there's also very good integration with Confluence. Right? So that you may have seen some of that in today's demonstration as well. But Confluence effectively becomes a source of knowledge that Service Desk can search through when your employees or your customers are looking for answers. So that's one way that it integrates. The other way that it integrates is that Service Desk now brings an easier and more streamlined way for you to create an article, a knowledge-based article, from Service Desk directly into Confluence. And we provide templates for how to do that. We provide templates for typical how-to guides and troubleshooting guides. So JIRA, Confluence, HipChat are some of the things that certainly play well with the Service Desk integration.
ありがとうございました。Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
じゃあ、はい、こちらの方、お願いいたします。
はい。
プライスリストちゃんと見てないんですけど、エージェントの考え方は、JIRAのユーザーであったとしても、そこにはJIRAのユーザーであったとしても、エージェントとしてカウントしていくような形になるんでしょうか。
So what we are looking at for the pricing model there is an agent is anyone who is on a team that provides service. Right? So that it's not every single person in your organization. It's only those people who actually do their work inside Service Desk. To give an example, IT Service Desk is the best example, I think. In IT Service Desk, you may have thousands of employees who may have requests ranging from desktop to laptop to software going to the IT team, and it is the responsibility of the IT team to solve those problems for the employee and track their work in Service Desk. In an example like that, only the members of your IT team will need to be licensed as agents. The rest of your organization is completely free.
つまり、JIRAユーザーであったとしても、エージェントとしてカウントしていく必要があって、なんていうか、そのサービスデスクの、オペレーションする人が、そこのエージェントに当たるという考え方で合ってますか？
Correct. The operators will be not users or end users who are asking for help.
Thank you very much.
ご質問ありがとうございます。では時間もありますので、最後もしもう1名の方いらっしゃいましたら、はい、こちらの女性の方、お願いいたします。
JIRAとかのオンプレでサーバー立てたときにアカウント数のマックスが大体5万人を推奨されていると思うんですけれども、JIRAサービスデスクの方も5万人まで許容できるというような感じでしょうか。それ以上になるとちょっと難しいというのはありますか？
I'm assuming you're talking about 50,000 users in the system is the limit that you're talking about. To be honest, I'm not actually familiar with JIRA's requirement to have 50,000 users. I think it can do definitely more than that. Right now, Service Desk does not have any kind of limitations less than what JIRA does. So effectively, it will be able to scale to whatever JIRA can scale to in terms of the scale, in terms of the number of users that are connected at the same time.
わかりました。ちょっと聞いてたのと違うのでわかりました。はい、大丈夫です。
ご質問ありがとうございます。それでは質疑応答を終了いたします。Thank you, Edwin. We will finish Q&A time. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you. それではただいまをもちましてJIRA並びにJIRAサービスデスクセミナーを終了したいと思います。